whoever tied me up knew what they were doing. There's bright daylight streaming between the nailed-up planks. How long was I out for? A few shards of glass, probably from the broken oil lamp. They're curved and relatively thick. A few shards of glass. An old kerosene lamp. Looks pretty big and heavy. Glass is missing. A green plastic bottle. I can't see what it is exactly. I'll shove it closer into the light. Kerosene. Judging by the weight, there's also still some in it. I can't reach it. An old cleaning cloth. Quite obviously not been used for quite some time. I can hear something. Sounds like a TV. Seems to be coming from downstairs. The furniture's been covered to protect it from dust. And taking a good look at it, I'd say nobody's been here for years. Kerosene. Judging by the weight, there's also still some in it. I could try to cut the bottle open. The kerosene is spread and has run into the crannies in the wood. There's a small pool of it left. I think I've got it all. The rag is now soaked in the kerosene. The rag's soaked in kerosene. Well, at least parts of it. I can't reach it. Good. I'll hold the shard of glass in one of the beams of sunlight. I think it's doing it. The shard focuses the light and heats a tiny spot on the material. Now that oughta... Wow. Way cool. Only a small fire for sure, but still way too big for me to undo my ropes. I can't just chuck myself in the chair into the flames. A thin strip of wood. I think I can reach it. Okay, I have to get there. That looks better already. Ah, that's much better. This rope was lashed around my chest. It's notably longer than the other pieces. The office chair won't fit in here at all. It was probably brought here to tie me onto. The office chair won't fit. This place in the wall looks a little strange somehow. A secret compartment. Oops, a kid's toy. Nothing more than kids' toys. Some child must have made themselves a store here. Nothing more than kids. Huh. Looks like tightly bundled material. Towels, bed covers, sheets, blankets. Perhaps the occupiers weren't able to take them with them, but also didn't want to just leave them to the rats and mice. That's why they bundled them all up as tightly as they could. Two landscape pictures. One shows a small rural town, and the other one a moorland scene. The windows are nailed up with heavy planks. I'm not gonna get out of here. Let's see what's behind it. Interesting. A family tree. Hey, maybe he'll give me some pointers to where There, right at the top. Samuel and Catherine Gordon. Then is that the Gordon's family tree? So this house also belongs to a Gordon. Are they behind the whole thing? The Gordon's family tree, beginning with Marcus and Mordred and going up to Samuel and Catherine Gordon. Hundreds of years of family history, full of murder and suffering. The idea of these things is that you hang your suit or uniform over it to stop it creasing. You can then maybe brush it down, too. Huh. The remains of what I was tied up with. Several pieces of rope, all between 1 and 2 yards long. A battery-powered toy car. When you turn it on, it just goes dumbly straight ahead. Looks like it's hardly been played with. The thing weighs at least 60 pounds. I'd rather not drag that around with me. There's some other stuff on the shelf. Looks like the mice have been at them. Some of the things have holes in them. A head! I think it's for putting your wig on, so that it keeps its shape. I can definitely use that. Damn it, not holding. They certainly don't belong together. Pretty ugly. A stand for wigs, shaped like a human head. Huh. It doesn't look to me like I'm gonna be able to loosen the boards. Not one bit. Fastened up for good. There's a brass plate under the picture of the town. There's something on it. Cardiff 1812. A tarted up version of a clothes dummy. A large white sheet. Oh, smells rather musty. No wonder, it's been used as a furniture dust sheet for years. A hallway with a stair at the end. There's a kids program on the TV.
Is there anything I can do for you, Samuel?
What the hell is that?
Hello? Yes. We arrived. It's nice here. Everything's just like you said. No, Tom's gone shopping. Yes. Tom tied him up with rope. I know. The man wasn't very nice to me. But I don't think it's good that he can't leave. Yes, I'll keep watch. Bye.
I think I'm slowly going mad. There was a woman's voice. She called me Samuel, and I heard music. Alright, now I really must pull myself together. Bobby's sitting down there, and Tom's somewhere around too. The pair of them have kidnapped me on behalf of someone who knows this house. But where the hell am I here? And more importantly, how the hell do I get away? Alright, the fire's out. It wouldn't have burned for much longer anyway. Wobbles a little, but the back of the chair is supporting the head. Not bad at all. Why should I tie up the clothes dummy? It's definitely not gonna struggle. At first glance, you could really think that someone was sitting there under the sheet. Ought to at least irritate my good pal Bobby. I've never been here before, but the room down there, That somehow seems familiar to me. Bobby's still sitting in front of the TV. I can't get past him unnoticed. I could well lure Bobby with it, but what then? He's a giant. I don't want to get into a fight with him. At first glance, you could really think that... At first glance, you could... The cloth is so tightly bound that it's gone rock solid. A strong rope, maybe 7 yards long. I bet that thing hasn't always hung here. Looks like it belongs in a hall or a drawing room. It was probably taken down at some time and then stored here. I could well lure Bobby with it, but what then? He's a giant. I don't want to get... I've already got the toy car. I don't need any more of those things. Huh. Looks like tightly bundled material. Perhaps the occupiers weren't able to take them with them. That's why they bundled them all up as tightly as they could. I'll tie the rope onto the binding. Like that. Bobby's still sitting in front of the TV. I can't get past him unnoticed. I could well lure Bobby with it. Ugh. The pieces of rope are too short. I've tied the rope to the bale. At first glance, you could really think that's... At first glance... The remains of my bonds. Several pieces of rope, all between 1 and 2 yards long. Ugh. The pieces of rope are too short. The remains of my bonds. Exposed ceiling beams. Pretty rustic, all that. Let's see. That works all right. I somehow have to draw my conscientious guards into the room. Okay, now I need to act quickly.
Hello? Everything okay? Oh.
Sorry, Bobby. Nothing personal. And now, let's get out of here. But where's all my stuff? I need my camera. He's still tied up and unconscious. Let's hope that Tom doesn't choose right now to come home from shopping, and that it's not all that far to the next town. Wow. The car seems to have withstood the impact well. That's a pretty old-fashioned cell phone. Modern ones only weigh about a pound and are no more than 12 inches long. This castle must be a few hundred years old. It would only ever have been heated with fireplaces back then. The chimney probably went through several rooms, so that it could give off heat all over. Well, it's funny that lots of folk like to hang carcasses on the wall. In Evil Dead, I thought these stag heads were funny, but this one here is pretty quiet and sure hasn't got much to laugh about. The piano seems to me to be at least 100 years old. Mom got a lot of pleasure from it. She used to play piano very well. I don't play any instrument at all. And if I could, then I'd rather play bass in a grunge band than a piano in a castle. I didn't know what I should play, apart from the fact that I probably wouldn't be able to play anyway. A finely carved wooden chest. Now are my things in there? Locked. Yeah, well, it would have been too simple otherwise. The lock in the lid kind of suggests that it's not going to be easy to get the lid open. Yep, so it is. I'm guessing that the chest isn't as old as it looks at first glance. As far as I know, numerical locks like this haven't been around for long. You have to enter the right 3-figure combination. Only, what is it? I can't just simply keep fiddling about. There are too many possible combinations. The carving shows small circles over a line. Perhaps some kind of pitch information? That's too many circles for me to tell. That's too many. some kind of banners or flags. Strange that no one's taken them. These things usually stand for history and tradition. And would somebody who lives in a castle like to have them with them? On the other hand, if you wanted to leave everything behind you, then probably these things would be the first. Bobby must have had himself a sandwich. And there's the wrapping paper still lying there. A piece of grease-proof paper. It's got fat on it in some places and is almost see-through. But most of it is still clean. Now all that's missing is a pencil or something similar. A battery-powered toy car. When you turn it on, it just goes dumbly straight ahead. Looks like it's hardly been played with. It doesn't look like there's been a fire here recently, but there are still a few charred bits of wood in the stove. I'll take one of the smaller pieces. Ah, now my fingers are all black. The circles are recessed into the wood. That means that they must be able to be traced on the paper using a piece of charcoal. Hey, worked well. You can easily recognize the circles as well as the lines. What if the circles on the chest are simplified notes? Notes which just give the pitch but not the duration of the note. Could the circles on the chest be simplified notes? Notes which just give the pitch, not the duration? If they really are notes, then there's a starting point missing. Perhaps you can begin anywhere, and just have to pay attention to the relative pitch of the notes with one another. What if the circles on the chest are... was it. I think. I didn't make any Always the same note. Sounds like it's done something. Got it. Combination worked. Alright, there's my stuff. Alright, I'll just take this stuff. I probably won't need the rest anymore. Oh, great. Wonderful. I'm in the middle of nowhere. The next house could be miles away, and Tom could be back at any minute. I think I better find out where I am first. If Tom does come back, I can always jump into the bushes. Whoever the guy is, and judging by his clothing, I bet he never reckoned on ending up standing in a swamp. What a dump. The castle looks like it's been fighting a battle with nature for the past 10 years. And lost. A dream habitat for frogs and swamp plants. But that wasn't ever the plan, for sure. Only this window has been nailed shut. The others were left unprotected and so for the most part are broken. It looks like the occupiers moved out in a hurry. Or they didn't care about what happened to the castle. That could have been a tower at one time. The princess would have been locked in the top, waiting for her knight in shining armor. Who knows what's waiting there now? A water hose, which apparently they used to use to blast the garden. It's had it. There's a huge rip in it about a yard long. There was probably water in it over the winter, and when it froze, it will have bursted. Hoses have been real useful to me up till now. Hopefully the same goes for this one. A completely filthy water tap. Well, who'd have thought it? It still works. The house, or what's left of it, is not as old as the other ruins here. This lamp definitely hasn't worked for eons, and for sure is never going to again. That's where someone either tried to turn into the entrance, or the wall fell down through old age. This wall is definitely just as old as the tower, and just as shaky. Had to keep away from it. The bowl is full to the brim with water. The outlet's probably blocked so that the rainwater can't escape. A tree's blocking the way, but I reckon I can climb over the trunk. Oh, damn! That could also have gone in my eye. Luckily, it seems to have not rained here for a while. That's why the morass is relatively hard and dry. Otherwise, I would have sunk in deeper, and might not have been able to get out on my own. Is that also some kind of grave? Huh. Nope. Rather more like a water basin. There's about half an inch of duckweed floating on the water. A monument. And there's more behind. Maybe some kind of family plot. Huh. It's a miracle that the stairs haven't collapsed, but I'm still not gonna step on them. It's a miracle that so much of the house is still standing after the tree smashed into it. Nothing interesting to see. The roof has caved in and buried the room below it. Huh. A hook. It still looks pretty sound despite the rust. Ah, it's damn well fixed. I'm not gonna get it out with my bare hands. No chance. The door's wedged. And even if it wasn't, the building looks likely to fall down any minute anyway. Huh. A hook. The swamp must have expanded in the last few years. I can't imagine that people would have built houses and put a cemetery in the middle of a swamp. Huh. The ground's real soft everywhere here. I think it must be a swamp. I bet as soon as it rains, you can't put one foot in front of the other. This building must be the only one you can still get into. In horror stories, there's always secret passageways under sarcophaguses like this. And they always lead down into secret underground chambers. In reality, though, I think I can exclude that idea. There are only probably some horrible beetles and corpse-eating maggots in there. This stone statue is covered in moss, like the others. It's carrying a metal shield. Unusual. A stone figure holding weighing scales. The scales are empty. could be Poseidon. Well, the statue's got a trident in its hand, at least. That's strange. The lid isn't sitting flush on the sarcophagus. There are some stone chips which have come off the edge. Doesn't look all too old. I think that the sarcophagus was open recently, but I wouldn't know what that's got to do with me. It's not gonna help me find where I am. There are 2 belts. They look like carrion slings, and they look new. The belts are a ripstop weave. They'll sure hold quite a bit. Obviously a wild, romantic place. Only the stinking swamp outside ruins the atmosphere. There are some stone chips which have come off the edge. A pulley, somewhat battered and weathered. But it still works. Looks useful. I'll take it with me. Three very similar trees, all about as thick as an arm, about 3 or 4 yards tall, and pretty bent over by the wind. The trees only have their first branches quite high up, and barely any leaves. They're obviously not doing too well, but they're still too thick to break them and bring them down. Strange. None of the graves look like they're from recent years. Most of the stones must have been standing there for decades. The statues are of veiled women, grieving for the dead. In their book it says... nothing. The only function of the wall seems to be to hold up the gate. I won't disturb it. Apart from the burnt places on the ruins, I can't spot anything else of interest. I'm pretty sure that there's something interesting inside, but I can't get inside from here. No. I don't need this. Three very similar trees. Two ripstop carrion slings. The hose has had it. The pulley is hung up somewhere up there with a hook. The hook below then slowly pulls itself into the housing when you pull on the thin chain. A simple principle. All you need is somewhere to secure it, and you have to get the weight securely fastened onto the lower hook. The lid is partly fallen in. That would appear to have been a few years back, though. The lid is partly fallen. The lid is partly... Behind the wall is where a kind of moat begins, maybe 4 or 5 yards deep. Wrecked, like everything here. The boy's around 12 years old, I guess. Looks like he could be watching me. Hey, kid! I know you're there. Come out, I'm not gonna hurt you.
You couldn't anyway. I'm much too quick for you.
If you say so. I'm Darren Michaels, a mighty physics student.
I'm Van Helsing.
Whoa, the vampire hunter? I always thought you were a bit older, sir. That's a nice hatchet you got there.
Mm-hmm. I found it.
Do you think I could borrow it?
A vampire hunter never puts his weapon down.
I see. Do you never have a break from being a vampire hunter?
What else can I play? All my toys are inside.
I saw some toys in the castle. Are they yours?
Yes, all my things. And my car. I got that for my birthday. I daren't go in there since those men have been there.
You better not. They're dangerous.
Are they werewolves?
No. But they kidnapped me.
Cool.
Can you tell me where I am? What's this castle?
Eh? It's the old Gordon's place.
The Gordons? From Willow Creek?
Willow Creek? I don't know what you're talking about. Sir Richard and Lady Eleanor used to live here.
And where are we exactly?
Where? In Wales.
Oh, great. Have you seen the two men who are living in the castle now?
Yes, nasty men.
You bet.
One of them chased me. Said he would call the police if I don't disappear.
I'm sure he wouldn't do that.
The woman was much nicer.
Which woman?
The pretty one.
I see.
Was here a few weeks ago. She was snooping around and asked me about the summer house and the laboratory. And then she went. She took some blood samples with her.
Strange. Did she tell you her name? Or what she planned to do with them?
She needed the blood for research. Angelina said.
Whoa, what?
For research. Maybe she's a vampire hunter too.
What did the woman look like?
Well, like a woman. Pretty.
Like this? Did she look like this?
Yes, that's her. But she had long blonde hair when she was here. I liked her much more like that.
Long blonde hair. And when did you say she was here?
It was before my birthday. About 4 weeks ago.
Long before we coincidentally bumped into each other in Biddeford. What kind of summer house is that?
It's all ruins. Blew up.
Really?
Yes, a long time ago. My father says that old Sir Richard died in the explosion. He had his laboratory in the summer house. He was a scientist. I think he was a vampire.
Really?
Of course. He experimented with blood. Who else does that kind of thing?
Maybe you're right. And they gave up the castle after the explosion?
Maybe. That was 10 years ago. Since I've been coming here, the castle has always been empty.
What exactly did the woman do when she was here?
Looked at the castle and the summer house. Especially the house.
Do you know what she did there?
Looked for something. And I think she tried to get into the old laboratory. At some point, she gave up and started searching at the tomb in the marshes. I had to go home because it was starting to get dark. When I came back the next day, she walked past me coming from the summer house. She had a bag of blood in her hand and was very happy. And then she left.
That's a nice hatchet you got there.
Mm-hmm. I found it.
Do you think I could borrow it?
A vampire hunter never puts his weapon down.
I see.
What else can I play?
Listen, Van Helsing. Can you do me a favor and keep watch for the car and the other man coming back? I need to have a look around here and, I need a lookout.
Of course. Nothing gets past me.
Excellent. That can't possibly be a coincidence. Angela snoops around the Gordon estate, and I discover a connection to this very family in Biddeford. Did Angelina lie to me? The question is, did she have a good reason, or does she work for the Order? I can't leave here before I found some answers. Hey, look!
Ooh, my car!
I don't know what I could ask him at the moment. The little guy's hatchet. Oh, it's seen better days. Can I just borrow the hatchet?
Yeah, of course.
Not long now and you'll see this place is one green sea of plants. I'll try to loosen the hook using the hatchet. That worked amazingly well. This'll take a while. The axe is real blunt. Okay, I felled the trees and trimmed the trunks for a good 1.5 yards. The tree trunks are about an arm's thickness and pretty long. How does that go? You can somehow rig up a tripod out of 3 pieces of wood. So, and then like so. Yep, exactly. And now, one tripod. Just has to be erected now. I'll position it as well as I can over the sarcophagus. I'll hang the pulley on the rope. I'll try to get as much of the rope as I can. I'll place the sling around the back right corner and the other around the front left one. The slings are exactly long enough to touch in the middle. The length just makes it. Real careful. I hope it's gonna hold.